All right, good morning. Welcome to the beginning of the week. We've already given you some story this morning. Good morning, Philip.
Morning.
Adu Odoku. Good morning, bro.
Good morning.
Yeah, the only malam that is wearing
Asiwaju's cap. This one is not Asiwaju's cap anymore.
Oh, really? His cap.
His own comes with 1/8 that is lying down.
That is lying down. Let us stand the 8
We need
up.
to stand it up.
We want to first of all say congratulations to all Nigerians for our AFCON victory. We came third.
Yeah.
They deserved what they got. They played well and they did the country proud. Yeah. And I want to also say congratulations to Senegal, our West African brothers.
Yeah.
They went to the land of the North Africans and they did it well and they did it good. We want to say congratulations to them. But above all, also, our president is back to the country and we are very happy. After 21 days, 3 whooping weeks, president was away. For the first time on record, Okafor, we didn't have a New Year message. For the first time, we didn't have the president spend the New Year with us. As if I'm correct. I mean,
this is about the first time I haven't seen that.
Yeah, exactly. But Dr. Hashim said that, look, what we are seeing now is things that we have seen before. He said it likened this administration to that of Abacha regime, where of all opposition were pulled down. Do you agree with him?
Well, you see, history repeats itself and often does because people do not learn from history. But that said, putting Abacha side by side with Asiwaju can, people can look at it as if you want the end of Abacha to also be like the end of Asiwaju. We don't want that. You don't want a living, to die so that politics can realign itself. We can realign Nigerian politics while Asiwaju is alive because remember the 5 political parties of that time, apart from the voice of MD Yusuf still saying, no, I want to contest, they all gathered together and said they were adopting Sani Abacha. So that's not what we can afford to do today. That's what Dr. Hashim Olawepo, a contestant, I think he was under PDP, right?
Yes, he was assistant secretary of PDP in the Obasanjo era.
Yeah, so he said, we have traveled this road before, where the whole parties come together and say we're adopting one person. That it was not a true situation of event. That Nigeria as a country can't afford that. And one thing we are not looking at is that Nigeria is the highest population in Africa. So our democracy is going to be the biggest democracy in Africa. So democratic nations are not going to be liking what is happening, that at the end of the day, all of us are being bossed into one party. And we also want to fight this while Asiwaju is alive. We want PDP to survive. It should survive. And Asiwaju has the duty to ensure that PDP survive. Labour Party should survive. ADC should survive. SDP should survive. Until this time, we haven't heard that the SDP national officials are able to run SDP administration from their national talent. So he, as the leader of democratic nation like Nigeria, has the duty to ensure that they survive. But meanwhile, you remember the time he said that it gives him joy that the opposition is in disarray. It shouldn't happen. That's not the road to go. That's what Dr. Hashim is telling us. That Nigeria, we have different ethnicity. We have demography in religion. We have demography across the spectrum of ages, youth, and all that. So for all this demography, one party system cannot cater for this. The earliest we understand this, the better for us. So we don't endanger this nation. And we have, let me tell you, this country is a negotiated country. Go and look at our history. At a point, the North and South came together and become Nigeria. Go and look at it. We have serious fault lines across tribe, across ethnicity, across regionality. But we choose to be together. And look, if you go and open our constitution, we choose to be together under fairness, equity, and things like that. And let me tell you, remember the other day, Dr. Piper was telling us that what we have is not democracy, that what we have is civil rule. We can't, at the expense of everything, have fought for democracy to be in Nigeria, fought the military, fought everything, then a civil leader under the name of democracy, will now be, pushing us back to what we had in Abacha days. It could be more catastrophic.
And let me come from this way. Let's look at Abacha's precedent. Of course, there was a gagging of all political party. A particular organization came up, the ABN, sponsored by one Kano and some other guys that were in school together at the time. But there was some sort of development and security in our society as at that time. You remember PTF. I mean, the roads were paved well. National Hospital, that we have not had any of such again till now. We still have it there. Gwarimpa, I remember, I can't say, but I mean, a whole lot of them. Can we still return to that, not minding the military rule that we have? Whether it's civilian, let it be democratic.
Thank you very much for asking me this question. I think what Hashim is saying here is not liking Tinubu administration to that of Abacha in the positive side, but on the negative side, especially as it were when Abacha proposed to transit from military rule to civil rule, only for him to ensure that the 5 political parties all adopted. They used to call them the 5 leprosy figures as at that time. So this is what is playing out in this administration, whether we like it or not. Hashim is saying the truth, the reality, because today PDP is in disarray, SDP is in disarray, Labour Party is in disarray, because the Labour Party is so pathetic. Today INEC will be with them. The next minute INEC will say that they don't know Aburi, so we don't even know where the Labour Party is, and we have ADC.
It's not even spared.
Yes, so the ADC, that in Delta State we have 2 ADC, one led by Okpebholo and the other people. At the national level, we have the one led by David Mark and the one led by Gombe. So you see, and all this is being orchestrated, whether we like it or not, by the ruling party, because the president has alluded to it that he gives him pleasure to see the opposition in disarray, even though the Senate president become his spokesman and tried to say that he was quoted out of content, and it is the president's interest to see that the other party run their affairs, where other APC people have come to say that it's not the duty of the president to ensure that the other parties are in peace. All these are what that has prompted Hashim to say what he has said. And look, this is not the way to go. This is the democracy, for crying out loud. Like he said, it cost Nigeria a lot to fight the military to get our democracy, this fourth republic
running.
But if we continue this way, this fourth republic, we can't afford it to go into abeyance because of the personal interest of one man. So therefore, the president should, as a matter of fact, learn from history. Because yes, we don't wish the president to end up the way Abacha ended up, but also the president should not go the negative aspect of Abacha, because Abacha is the only leader that died and the whole country was celebrating because of what people perceived then that is oppressive nature. And you can't separate this government from that kind of oppressive nature, because this is the only government that has removed subsidy. There's no country in this world that do not subside one thing or the other for her citizens. They not only remove subsidy, they floated the naira. They do not only floated the naira, they've come up with tax reform that you will pay 25% of your income. Whether they try to define it that
we don't even understand it to the fullest.
If your annual income is 800,000, you won't pay. What about the market? The people you are taxing, they are producing for the society, and the people you are not taxing are the ones that are going to bear the problem. So we are taxed left, right, and center. So if the president would listen, like you always said, that this is the government that has come into play, that you will say what you will say, but they will do
what they will do.
So we appeal to Mr. President to see that we don't repeat the history of Abacha in Nigeria again. Okay,
all right. Okafo, let me come to you. Look at Yusuf, for example.
Yeah.
The governors in their entirety, with no sparing anyone, they are docile, lack leadership skills, and they should quote me. All governors in this country. Listen, if you look at the composition of our federation, right? They have powers to do so much. Yeah. Having a concurrent list where they share powers with the federal, having a residual where laws that concern themselves are enshrined in that place. But they keep on saying, we want to align with the center. We want to align with the center. Yusuf, now of NNPP, has lost his bearing in Kano State. also having a godfather that is not like Wike. Of course, Philip will say that if you have Godfather will control you. But this one, Godfather is never controlling him in that respect, but lacks leadership skill to its entirety. Now, we don't know where he's standing, whether he's still in NNPP or whether his leg is now in APC. What do you have to say about it?
You know, one is very, very conservative with words, so you don't see yourself being spiritual or abusing or cursing these sets of politicians we have today. Since 2023, these people were elected into office. All they've been doing is politics.
That's all.
The campaign and all these things, and something that is really rare to see before. It's very, very rare to see that somebody from this party is moving to the other party. So I don't know what to say about them. You know, this of Yusuf, in this case, he's appearing to be slightly stronger when you compare him to those who have already decamped. Even why not, how do I call it, negotiating for anything or knowing whether they are going to get automatic ticket or not. Because the demands on table in this case is not only about automatic ticket, it's about whether he's going to nominate a minister, certain positions that APC members are already serving in, whether he's going to be able to replace them as the leader of the party now in Kano if he defects. You know, I think he has had muscle to even do all these negotiations simply because of the immunity he has. You know, even as much as EFCC chairman has told us that he does not believe or subscribe to the idea that EFCC is being used to work for the APC. You find out that if this was a former governor being hunted for one crime or the other, he would have defected just easily, you know. So, but in this case, he's still stronger than even the serving governors that just defected, not
but
any negotiation.
Looking at the fact that someone like him has a godfather that brought him to power. Imagine if his godfather was wicked.
Let me tell you, one thing you also have to know that his godfather is more flexible and more flippant than any of politicians at his level. Among all those that contested the last election, he's the first to meet with Asiwaju personally. He's the best to still set condition with which he can join to APC.
So it's like a read.
Let me tell you, if you are talking about his godfather said he has condition to be VP to P2B. His godfather said he has condition to join APC. P2B is in opposition. Yet a same person who can join opposition and that same person can join the ruling party. What is your philosophical anger against the ruling party? So it's all about yourself. Truth remains that he said that you are in support of what the ruling party is doing and you encourage them to continue to do better, or you are against what they are doing and you should be with opposition. Now it's all about you. If you have conditions to join the opposition and be a VP to P2B, you have chosen a position for yourself already, and you have another condition to join APC. It's all about you. You don't even have any position politically. There's nothing, so you don't even know whether this government is performing or not. You are not holding them to account. What the essence of opposition is to hold the ruling party to account. So don't even go to where his godfather is.
All right, let me leave his godfather. Let's look at Yusuf. Putting on the background the kind of godfather he has and the kind of politics they are playing in Kano. What they are playing is that they are using it as a negotiation table. Now, do you think he will survive this dilly-dallying stuff that he's doing?
You see, Yusuf is already in dilemma, serious dilemma, because I read somewhere that he has been expelled from the NNPP.
We can't confirm that.
Can't confirm that. So, and the APC, his defection to the APC is being stopped because the conditions he's putting before the APC are yet to be agreed upon. So, where is Yusuf? That takes us back to the story in Bayelsa some time ago and later in Osun, where you now have a governor without having a political party, which is not within our constitution. Because for you to be a governor, you must belong to a political party, and that political party must sponsor you for election, and you must win election on that platform, and you govern on that platform for the period of the mandate given to you. Here we are in Kano. The man has said he's leaving, whether he had left or not, we don't know, but the party has expelled. Well, this is not the first time he's been expelled by NNPP, so that is not, it's not new to us. But the kind of policy they are playing in Kano, like he rightly said, is the case of Kano is also lacking to the case of Rivers. We don't know the script the godfather and the godson are playing. You know, at some point, we were told or we read that, you know, the godfather has endorsed his crossing to his defection to APC. And 48 hours later, he came to distance himself from that statement that he never endorsed the defection. So this is the true person of the Godfather, the Kwankwaso himself. He's a man you cannot trust. All he's looking for is his personal interest. You know, he's the same man who told Obi that he's too bigger to be a vice president to Obi, who had not somersaulted that he's ready to be a running mate to Obi in 2027. He just want to be in power at all costs. If Yusuf defect to APC, we make him to be relevant in power. That so be it. So Kano State at this point is in a pathetic situation because they are not playing politics of principle, but they are playing politics of what first defined as a stomach infrastructure, the one that can satisfy their flesh.
Okay, all right, we'll keep a tab on the situation from Kano. Don't forget, Kano is one of the biggest economy apart from Lagos and rivers that we have. Is a city of commerce or is a state of commerce. Don't also forget that they are battling with a lot of insurgency and all that, the part of it that is close to Katsina. Now let's come to Edo State. The Edo State governor took off on a note, and it's like it's not landing because the pad he took off from was more political than being a God-sent man to the state. He kept on saying we will give Asiwaju 2.5 million votes, this one destroying people's houses, then also giving money to his political thugs and all that. But now there's a rumor of a rift between him and the deputy governor, who is Idahosa. He's from Benin, Idahosa, but the governor is from Ishan, in all of them different senatorial districts. But the deputy governor said, is the rift that they are saying they have is an imaginative thing that is coming from people. He said, I stand where the governor stands. I stand, the governor is my elder brother, he's my political leader. There's no rift between us. Can we take that to the bank?
You see, that is never true because we take our mind back to the emergence of this governor. You know, in Edo State, when the governorship election was to be conducted, the primaries were two primaries also.
Yeah.
The first one was won by Idahosa.
Yeah.
But because of the interest, you know, Idahosa was, Oshomole, the leaders of APC in Edo State candidates, choice candidate.
Yeah.
But the power that be wanted Okpebholo because he had done a lot of underground work, and it is the turn of the Edo Central, and it became, for them to resolve the issue. Don't forget, remember that the two of them were in the National Assembly. One was at the Senate, the other one was the House of Reps.
Yes.
So they kind of managed and meshed the two. Okpebholo became the flag bearer, Idahosa became the running mate, and they went to the election, and the result is what we're having today. Now, if you hear anything, they said there's no smoke without fire. So if the deputy governor has come to say there's no reef, then that shows that there's real reef. Because don't forget, Okpebholo had, like you said, he had not been well loved by the Edo people, especially the Benin-speaking people. And if the Okpebholo give his way, we give way to Idahosa. And Idahosa has dreamt to be governor, and he actually got the ticket, but it was negotiated out. And if he has a way of getting it, you can be rest assured that rumor, you should take it seriously. But again, this is politics. He cannot come out to say that, look, yes, there's rumor, I want to take the seat that rightfully belongs to me. He cannot say so. So he has said what is expected of him. But we should watch out for Edo State to see how far Okpebholo could go with
can sustain this.
Yes.
Okay, now let's look at it from another angle. The Benin, that's what you call the Edo South.
Yeah.
They have a bigger political heavyweight. Now, but there's a problem between the Oba's palace and some of the chiefs and some of the opinion makers in the state that have been in this state. The former Edo State governor is still a great factor. He has a very good media team that's tried to come on Okpebholo's back all the time. Now, within the Benin itself, there's also a rift. Do you understand? Because the governor is supporting or is in tandem with the Oba of Benin. But there are some other people too that are not in tandem with the Oba of Benin. Do you think this can bring Idahosa side by side with the governor?
Well, constitutionally, what can the deputy governor do? Constitutionally. and the governor that can do something has told you that they want to, each time all these political leaders are defecting from their parties, especially governors, to APC, they will tell you that we want to be in alignment with the center. So a donor being in APC, the governor wants to be in alignment with the center. So when you talked about Okpebholo starting from political angle that will give Asiwaju 2 million votes, what is the center doing? Alignment with the center is not only on serving people, in also doing the same thing that the center is doing. The center is not to be all political in what they are doing. As far as Okpebholo continue to be in alignment with the center, there's not much the deputy governor can do. And this is not in defense of Okpebholo, that you are more educated than somebody, that you can speak better than somebody, that you can solve mathematics more than somebody, doesn't mean you have better leadership quality than that person. We have always reduced all we have in leadership quality about a person to basic education. Let me tell you, what we call education, which actually is a regular education, does nothing other than one thing: its ability to help you learn better. Because life itself is a lifelong, it's a learning all the way. All you have is a lifelong learning. So your basic education, your regular education, is simply to make learning along the line easier for you. Okpebholo might be a slower learner, but he was a senator, and a senator who is not so fluent in English, maybe not so intellectually sound as people expect, for him to be able to bulldoze into the ways of becoming a governor shows that he has some leadership and intelligence embedded in him. I'm not seeing much that the deputy governor can do, because left with no option, he has nothing else to do than to publicly come out and say, I double for you, I'm loyal to you.
But there's a lot of violence going on in the state as we speak. In fact, from within the party, some people have been humiliated out of the party, that are core members of the party. Do you think they can survive that?
Like I kept saying, alignment with the center is what is in vogue in Nigeria. As far as Okpebholo continues to align with the center, there's not much that can be done. Let me tell you, you're talking about violence. If you want to quell violence today, what do you use? You use the military power, you use the police. Who has control of that is the center. That is how we are structured, unfortunately. So Okpebholo knows this. That is why he told you that we are going to give Asiwaju even 3 million. Even the voters they do not have registered in those states. Okpebholo is ready to give it to Asiwaju, at least verbally, before the day of election. Because they understand how this thing works. So there's not much that will happen that for as long as Asiwaju sees Okpebholo to be his good books, there's no more that will happen in those states that they can't contain.
Okay, I think we'll keep on watching them and see how they go of all this. But we are quite happy that our president is back. I'm really happy that the president is back, because then when my mother is not at home, everybody is missing him. But our father is back to the country. We are just saying, all right.